Hey everybody, it's Tracy Lamar Ray again, coming back to you from the Glom Initiatives YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. As a part of Women's History Month, I want to talk about women and shame. I have done a couple of topics about fear, about vulnerability, about courage, and about shame and future expectations. But today I wanted to specifically talk to my audience about the shame monster, as Brene Brown calls it, and how it affects us and how it shows itself in our lives. So, shame equals vulnerability. It is the state of being where you want to hide from being exposed and the potential of being judged by others. So, the reason that shame can be so destructive is that it can keep us from connecting with people in our lives and having those really close relationships. And again, it keeps us from being vulnerable. And that is why we feel ashamed, because we don't want to expose certain aspects of ourselves to others, because it makes us feel uncomfortable. It makes us feel raw. And so as women, how does that show up for us in particular? I think there's 4 different things that you could ask yourself to determine whether or not you might be hiding away from shame and being vulnerable. One of the things you can ask yourself is, do you have to control every aspect of an experience or circumstance that you are in? Are you a control freak? Be honest. The next thing you can ask yourself to determine whether or not you might be dealing with aspects of shame is, are you a perfectionist? Do you control every single aspect of the details of the way things are done? Meaning the way you do things in life, and do you have to control and make everything perfect for, have other people do everything perfect in your home or at your job? That is a real good indication that you may be hiding some flaw that you believe that you have from the world. Another thing that you can ask yourself is, are you a chronic people pleaser? Do you consistently try to live up to the expectations of those around you? To the extent that you go above and beyond to make other people happy, to make other people feel as if you have it all together. Definitely think about that one very closely. Are you a chronic people pleaser? And honestly, it is very telling if you can get down to the point where you remember when that people-pleasing behavior began for you. Most often, it is likely, it likely goes back to a specific instance or experience in your life. The last thing you can ask yourself to determine whether or not you are hiding from something and trying to shield yourself from being exposed. The last thing you can ask yourself to determine whether or not you are trying to shield yourself from being exposed and having to deal with the shame of being exposed as a fraud, maybe, as if you're afraid to try new things. Are you the type of person who has a very distinct comfort zone? And so you resist and reject the opportunity to do a new thing, to try a new thing, to taste a new thing. That's a clear indication that you too are afraid of what maybe other people might think of you when you do that new thing, and you're not you're not adept at it yet because it's brand new to you. Or you may be afraid to try like new foods or new experiences because maybe you'll like them, and then what does that mean? So I encourage you to ask yourself those 4 questions and determine whether or not, or explore whether or not, you might be hiding because you feeling shame and are creating a defense mechanism that is keeping you from being fulfilled and thrive. It takes courage to face your shame. It takes courage to turn around and understand the source of the shame and why you feel vulnerable. But if we can address that shame, it frees us to show up for our lives and show up for our families and show up in our relationships on a deeper level of connection instead of putting up boundaries and walls. For a really good discussion on shame and courage and the erosive nature that shame can have on women, check out Brene Brown's book, Daring Greatly. She has a fantastic breakdown of her research and exploration of how you can live more freely and live more open and dare to be who you are. Hopefully you find this video helpful and it resonates with you a little bit, and it gives each of us as women an opportunity to examine the things that we might be hiding from and be a little more authentic. If you enjoy what we're doing, please like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you great video content. Do you have the courage to show up for your own life? To realize your vision and unlock your potential, contact GLOM Initiatives at 757-550-4987 or glominitiatives.com.